Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And in this edition of Where I Went Wrong, I'll be doing Where I Went Wrong, UFC on ABC 3, Ortega versus Rodriguez. So yeah, let's just get into it and let's get through it. Because the funny thing is I've been trying to make this video all day long and that's just been like interruption. But yeah, I'm not even gonna stretch this too much. I'm gonna be real quick with this so I can get this done and get it out the way with, because yeah. But yeah, first pick was Emily Ducati versus Jessica Penne. Well, let me say first off, I went 5-7. My tied for my worst card of the year. So 5-7, worst card of the year, tied for it. But yeah, second time getting 5-7 for the year, tied for my worst card of the year. But yeah, we got to do well. I got to do better. We got to do better, but most specifically, I got to do better with these predictions because sheesh. But anywho, I'm gonna start where I went right with, and I feel like that's what, even on a bad night, if the pick you really were invested in came through, a lot of times it's all mad because you're not really all. Matter of fact, with this card in general, I was not truly invested with this card too much. I really didn't like this card too much for many reasons, and obviously it shows. But even looking in hindsight or kind of pre-sight and stuff, it was clear ways to have a decent card. It wasn't like it was, oh, I don't know, everything's a coin flip. It wasn't really like that. Some fights were, but then they were proven to be otherwise. But for the most part, a lot of these picks weren't so hard to pick. But I picked the other way in a lot of these cases. But yeah. So first fight, I'm talking where I went right. Emily Ducati versus Jessica Penne. This was the fight I was most invested in, most interested in. I thought Ducati had a lot of upside. She was like 28 years old, solid striking, very technical, solid defense, good wrestling, good grappling defense. And Penne, like, not really the best striker. And most of her wins she had been winning at this later age had been like, taking advantage of mostly younger fighters or older fighters like herself. So yeah, in my case, she's been with a like young stud or young talent like Ducati, who's skilled in the pose and sharp, and got a good mind on her, good fight IQ. And she proved that. I feel like she could have got a stoppage, but a good clean win over trying to put a spectacle on and potentially losing. Another thing that shows your fight IQ. Like, hey, those finishes gonna come when they come. If they don't come, they don't come. At the end of the day, winning is the most important. She still put on a stellar performance. Just didn't get this, put a stamp on it. But nonetheless, she showed where her skills are, and she obviously has some spectacular knockouts and finishes on her record. So it's not like she needs something to make a statement. She has already a pretty solid highlight reel, and it's gonna continue. And our only highlight reels are just purely knockouts. They help. They make a highlight reel easy, but yeah, she already got them. Is all I'm trying to say. But yeah, good performance from Ducati. And that was my most. She was in my lock pick, or one of my lock picks, but high confidence. I still need to see more from her. I see her in this level. Probably really gonna need to see her in a couple more fights before I really start to say lock pick, depending on that's a stylistic matchup. I really, really like her. Really see her any potential for her to lose, and then I'll put like a lock pick on her. But so right now, high confidence is good, and she came through. My most interested, invested pick for the week or that night. But yeah. Then to our next fight. This is where I started going wrong. Dustin Stolfus versus the White Grand, or the White Grand versus Stolfus. With this one, I picked experience and wins in the UFC over, the traditional who's the more around the guy, who could better take advantage of the other guy's style. I feel like Grant, I was kind of leaning to a puncher's chances, which is never a good thing. And leaning to his experience fact that he has won fights in UFC. And also leading to puncher's chances like Stolfus has a history of getting his chin so much. And he got like one TKO early in his career. So it's not like he's a chinny guy. I know the White Guard got power to put almost anyone out, or anyone out. Yeah, he had power and like a couple wins in the UFC, like a notable win over Alan Joban and such and such. But 37 years old, no real special talent outside of having power. Chilling with the more rounded Stolfus, who has the grappling, at least an actual credible skill. But nonetheless, still a tight matchup. But Stolfus should have been a clear pick. Granted, just like very one dimensional. And even in his one dimension, he's pretty sloppy and unpolished. So Chalina at least got a decent polishing in his one dimension. And 28 years old versus 37, the clear pick should have been Stolfus, but dumb pick on my side. Next fight, we had Dustin Jacoby versus Dong Jung. And with this one, I was originally leaning Jacoby. I was also originally leaning Stolfus, but like, it don't matter. You originally leaning these people, you lean the opposite way later on. It don't matter. You still got it wrong. So it doesn't matter like who you lean. It's where you picked at the end, and I picked wrong. I made the wrong adjustments. But yeah, Jacoby versus Jung. With this one, I just look too much in the tape a little bit, or got too caught up on recency. And I even in my comments, you can see me saying like Donald Jung really got it like super packed down. I ultimately avoided this fight betting wise. I ultimately avoided it because Yeah, I wasn't super confident in Jung, but I was confident enough to, swayed enough to pick him, predict him, but definitely not swayed enough to bet him. Because I just feel, yes, Donald Jung had, well, let me say why I would pick him. I feel like Donald Jung was pretty big. He was a young guy. He was more, had more dimensions to him. He was more well rounded. Is what I'm trying to say. He was more well rounded, bigger, younger, and it seemed like he had a little bit of momentum on side, a little bit, like at least as far as putting on a stellar performance, that type of momentum. Whereas Jacoby was come off like a really unstellar performance versus like a striker. But then again, against a striker, last time Donald Jung really fought a striker was Sam Alvey, and didn't do the best against him. Like he was really losing to Sam Alvey, struggling with Sam Alvey, and then he hurt him late, and that was enough to turn the fight into a draw. So yeah, a fighter in Donald Jung who's primarily going to be, he has more dimensions. Can he effectively use them against Jacoby? Does Jacoby really have an issue with wrestling? Not really. And does Jung really initiate wrestling so much? Not really. Against Willie Knight, because Willie Knight was trying to wrestle him, so he just said, "Oh, I could find success here." Or this guy trying to wrestle me, and he saw, "Oh, I could easily wrestle him," and he took advantage of it. But that's typically not his game to do that. And also, it's not like Jacoby has a big weakness in wrestling. Well, yeah, not at this level necessarily. I feel like at a higher level they could exploit him, but at this level he's pretty fine. His wrestling holds up. And then a world class striker versus a guy who just probably a low level MMA striker with a big frame and some power should lean to the world class striker. So Jacoby should have been a clear pick there, but bad pick on my side. So that's two bad picks. I mean, all of my losses gonna be pretty bad picks for this card. Next fight, Bill Alge versus Herbert Burns. In reality, I'm gonna expose myself here. I really didn't look into too much to Herbert Burns' age. I always assumed he was a little bit younger or a good bit younger, so that's very poor. I'm admitting I was very poor. I didn't look at his age. I know he was inactive for a bit of while, but been inactive at this age, like he's 34. I thought he was like 4 years or 5 years younger. I was some young prospect, but he like only 1 year younger than Gilbert Burns, without nearly the experience or accomplishments of Burns. But yeah, Bill Algeo worked on his wrestling, and also nothing. I just like you just forget things like in the story, you already learned these things. You could easily forget things. I was like early on looking at Burns. I knew his wrestling offense wasn't all that great, and Bill Gio's wrestling defense isn't all that bad. But he definitely can give up some takedowns. He doesn't stay down too much, but he can give up takedowns. Can be controlled for a little bit. It's not like Burns has pushed a crazy pace, which he doesn't, and Burns doesn't have super good wrestling. So clear pick should have been Bill Algeo, but you forget some things and you just make quick picks and you make quick big mistakes. Quick pick, big mistake. Like the picks themselves should be quick, but the study should not be quick. And like also, even though you already feel like you learned something, sometimes you forget. Sometimes your recollection go out there. But inactive versus a guy that's been active and trying to work on himself versus Herb Burns, who's been inactive and not really going hard in training, and also like 34, 35, and not very much leaning to one dimensional. And in the area where he needs, like you will need to work on your takedowns to get to your grappling. If you struggle in that area, you're not really making improvements. Bill Algeo should have been a clear pick in that one, but make mistakes. That was a clear mistake on that one. So kind of close to the end of his prime, been inactive for like a year or two, maybe even 3 years, and not really fleshing out skills. Versus Bill Algeo, who like won't have the cardio to push the pace, the better striker, and be able to get back to his feet and make Herbert Burns work. And also, I already said that in the prediction that Algeo himself is a black belt, so it's not like I saw Herbert Burns go out there really, but he did get close to tapping him. I would say that, but good for him in that. But I didn't see that happening. I see a submission going for Burns. I thought it would be a decision, but decision without that cardio for decisions and going to a guy like Algeo who's scrappy, gonna make you fight, make you work, especially coming off a 2-3 year inactivity. Bill Algeo should have been a clear pick, and probably within distance that should have been a clear pick. I probably would say hindsight probably like a third round, maybe. Well, yeah, probably more lean third round. Break it like close, probably first round, second round, kind of wearing on more. Third round, exhausting, get put away. Probably my prediction. It would have been off a round, but so yeah. Third round pick, 3 in a row wrong. Next fight, Punley Soriano versus Dr. Lungiabala. Ain't gonna get into that. I picked second round for Soriano, so perfect pick. Whether perfect prediction to a T, but perfect method, perfect fighter, perfect to the round, fighter, and method. So that's all I'm gonna say about that one. Next fight, we had Lauren Murphy versus Miesha Tate. And with this one, I had my concerns. Like early on, I was like, say again, the what they call it, same old story. I had Murphy early, didn't lean to Miesha Tate. I was like, Miesha Tate can't. I like to look in the first. I said, Miesha Tate can't get takedowns on Murphy. But then I was looking at Murphy old fights. But anyway, I don't even think it's fact about what Murphy did in this. I think it's more so about Miesha Tate more so. Murphy is good and she doesn't get the credit she deserves to an extent. But Misha Tate definitely drained herself too much to make 25. And at that later age, like she's trying to cut weight and wrestle and fight and compete. Probably sure. And really, with these people making weight, like I know a lot of people at 35 have dropped down successfully to 125 and reinvented their career, or at least give their career a little bit more juice. But those people that haven't really won the belt at the major stage, won the biggest belt. They might have won some other belts, might have competed for some other belts, or maybe competed for the belt, like the UFC belt, but they never won the belt. Misha Tate had. And Misha Tate, like, she already reached the pinnacle of her career. At this point, it's just, just trying to add sprinkles on top. And like, so even though she could feel like she's motivated this and that, like, she's not. I mean, she probably is, but she's up there in age. It's not like she needs it for a career, and she's cutting down in weight. And Murphy has pretty solid wrestling defense. Shut her down, got 2 takedowns on her, and she had the better striking, which I said in my prediction. But I feel like Misha Tate probably be able to get a couple takedowns, keep it close enough, probably outvaluing her, but she got outvalued. She got outstruck, got outvalued, got out wrestled, got outfought, and just look a step or two behind. And like, yeah, if she would got those takedowns and probably would have kept striking close enough, I feel like it would have been a very clear case. Not a clear case. It would have been a case where the judges could stretch and give Misha Tate this. I thought it was like at that time. I thought it would be like a fight where Misha Tate would do just enough, and the judges will reward her for just enough. In matter of fact, it could be Murphy really should have been the one to win, but Misha Tate just get favor on the side and would win by the judges' blessings. But that was my real prediction for the fight. But trying to predict the unpredictable or trying to predict crazy outcomes isn't all the best thing. Except when doing that. I mean, that period's still going when they kind of against Russia. It's not on as heavy as it was, at the peak of the whole Ukrainian-Russian thing, but it's still kind of on, like, where that was a good time to fade Russian, because it's going to decision kind of fade the Russian. Close, it's a competitive decision to fade the Russian, because they were definitely doing some type of work around that time. It's not as much now, but yeah, I'm just trying to say, as far as predicting unpredictable and wild outcomes and wild judging, like trying to predict for that, it's not the best thing unless it's actually a really good statistic going behind it. And it wasn't a real great statistic going behind it. Like, yeah. But anyway, Murphy spoiled the money for Valentina Shevchenko. She would definitely have mixed up Misha Tate and probably made more money. But now she probably might end up getting another boring fight with Laura Murphy, or just had to rematch Talia Santos even earlier than she would have wanted to. Or maybe even earlier than Talia Santos would want to, or should to, but who knows. All it does is that kind of matchup kind of makes that Talia Santos matchup either the next fight, the rematch, or makes it either way, makes it very close. There's not really any other woman really vying for the title right now that really deserves a title shot, to be honest. And that's very much, to be honest. No one really else deserves a title shot other than Talia Santos getting that rematch. But yeah. Then on to our next fight, Shane Burgos or Charles Jourdain. Honestly. But honestly, I feel with this one, I feel like Jourdain won, but hey, I got away with a robbery. Could have had an even worse card than I did, but Burgos got away. I said decision, so it was a majority decision, but decision, perfect pick. Close decision, I said, close decision, perfect pick. Really, if I would have bet majority or some decision, really, really perfect. But nonetheless, I feel like Charles Jourdain won. I feel like Burgos did a good job in the second round. First round, really, like real close. I feel like they got second round. But I really feel like you could lean the first round to Jourdain, to be honest. Second round, you can't debate. You can't debate that Burgos. Third round, can't debate that Jourdain. But I feel like Jourdain did way more work in that one, and really was like just picking apart in that third round. But yeah, ain't gonna dwell on that too much. It is what it is. Because some days you end up on the right side of bad decisions. Sometimes you end up on the wrong side. And at the end of the day, you can't do nothing with that, one way or the other, except talk about it. Next fight, I had Matt Schnell versus Suma Durji, or Madurji versus Suma Durji versus Matt Schnell. I had Suma Durji to knock out Schnell. I didn't go in the first round. And this one, I can't, like I said, I don't feel this is a bad pick. Some of these other picks were terrible picks, but this one I can't feel like it's a bad pick based on who Matt Schnell is and how his career has been. And he was close, like with 9 times of being like stopped in this one. Rocked and wobbled by elbows, rocked and wobbled by straights, rocked and wobbled by hooks. Man was breakdancing out there. But despite his glass chin, man was able to survive and hard his way through it, find a takedown, find the ground and pound, find the submission, and put him out. Beautiful performance, beautiful comeback for Schnell. I can't really say his career trajectory changes or who he is as a fighter changes, but he was able to get the one. And also I said in prediction, I said if Schnell wouldn't have the fight IQ he has, if he didn't have the chin he had, then I feel like this is a fight he should win. And he did win it, but I was saying super dirty. I like, because I couldn't fade. I mean, I couldn't get rid. I can't forget all the stuff that he has, losses he has. But nonetheless, I still, after that performance, I'm in all likelihood picking against him a lot of cases in his fights. It's like very few people I'm not going to pick against him against. Sumaderji, I feel like now this opened up cans of worms for him. And like he came in with a bad ACL, a balloon ACL, or no ACL, but it still showed he has some weakness in his wrestling, some weakness in his BJJ, and he could come in with 2 good knees. But like really I could see a lot of matches that in the past I would say either closer and I might have to have debate about, but now I'm going for I feel like a lot of these matches I feel like kind of close or kind of on the fence about. I feel like they're clear picks against them. So really both of these guys, good performance, beautiful fight night. They both got some big checks, but both of these guys looking like fade material after the fight. Good performance, both guys. Exciting fight. Took a lot out of both of them, but both were looking like clear fade material in the next fight. Very much clear fade material in their next fights. But good performance by Chanel. And I'm pretty sure that's what his career needed. And then hope, I don't know, maybe he could do something for him. Like it might not have showed his skill there, but maybe give him the confidence to improve even more and go even harder and make those adjustments. Like give him some more spice in his life, more spice in his career, more fire in his belly, and do make some improvements and prove me wrong again. But yeah, I just can't see that becoming a theme because Chanel has, for the most part, proven to be who he is, and I don't think he's going to change at this point in his career. But yeah, next fight we had Li Jingliang versus Muslim Salikov, and with this one, another one went wrong, which is like, this number 7. Yeah, but this number 7. This is the last and final one I got wrong. Li Jingliang with this one. Muslim Salikov was looking pretty good early, but I think he was a pattern. I don't feel like this is necessarily a bad pick. Age-wise, and the fact that a lot of these fighters that have been in the UFC for a good long time, like the Jake Matthews and Ji Liangs and et cetera, they starting to really catch their stride. At first, they were kind of sinking into place and they're becoming doorkeepers. I said doorkeepers, gate guardians, not even gatekeepers. They're not even that high to be. They doorkeepers. They're not gatekeepers. They're doorkeepers. But yeah, they become like Jake Matthews becoming a doorkeeper. Ji Liang had to become a doorkeeper. But now, like, they starting to, like, hey, I'm going to get these wins. But in fact, Ji Liang did go on the streak before. Then, like, who shut it down? Kamzat shut it down. Neil Magny shut it down. Yeah, first Neil Magny. Then kind of a little steam again. Then Kamzat just embarrassed him. But anyway, like, they started to show some little life in him. Also, Salikov is 38 years old. But nonetheless, he was looking pretty good. He was clearly winning the first round. But I think he got too caught up in the pattern of throwing his jab, pulling it back and leaning. And Ji Liang took a full advantage of that. You do that jab, pull it back, came back, followed with straight, rocked him. And he never recovered from that. Li Jingliang put him on. It's all pattern. Like, and at this high level, you can't be making amateur mistakes. And that's what Salikov did. And you're making amateur mistakes at the high level. You're 38 years old, and you gotta really play it safe. But he looked pretty good up until that point, but he kept doing a bad tendency, and Li Jingliang made him pay for it. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like deeper intel could have saw something in Salikov with a tendency to throw a jab and lean back like that, and Li Jingliang showed an ability to take advantage of those type of mistakes. I definitely knew Li Jingliang would take this better after the second round. I mean, yeah, after the first round. Like, he gets way better after the first round. Knew that from him. What he get? Well, most cases, it's him getting rocked and rolled around the cage first before he gets that second gear. He didn't really get beat up too much in the first round, but he got clearly lost the first round. But yeah, nonetheless, second round, he turned it up, saw mistakes, and fully capitalized. So good performance with Li Jingliang. I can't say this is necessarily a bad pick to lean Salikov. Can't say that, but clearly not the right pick. I feel like as far as this one, could have looked a little bit more in depth and saw mistakes in his game and see if Ji Liang could exploit them. I really didn't really look too deep into this one as far as that. I saw like momentum, and I saw that Salikov was a world-class striker. I saw his pacing, I saw his technique, and I saw lack of defense on Ji Liang's side. I saw that Salikov could take advantage of that, but Salikov clearly had flaws in his own game as well, and Ji Liang was able to take advantage of those flaws. You can take advantage of his flaws, but he took advantage of your flaws even better and was able to get to stop it. So yeah, going forward, I'm gonna look a little bit more, but definitely I'm not gonna say I'm like so turned around about Ji Liang. I'm just gonna say like still likely to fade him. And Salikov, I knew at some point Salikov was gonna become fade material. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I knew he was gonna fall off. I'm saying I didn't see him as a guy that's gonna be like challenged for no belt. Now I'm really looking at 38 years old. He ain't really challenging for no belt. He could pick up some more good wins, but I think he's always going. I think really, as a matter of fact, I just think at this point he hit his ceiling. He might be like, roll the dice sometimes. Probably could beat Ji Liang in a rematch, possibly. but I think around this level is kind of where his ceiling kind of reaches. I'm not saying him being no top 10 guy, definitely not no top 5 guy. I think with top 15, low top 15, probably as his peak. But yeah. Then on to our co-main event. Yeah, I already said that. Limos didn't impress me against Waterson, but she got her hand raised, and that's all that matters. So on to the next. Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega. When Yair Rodriguez he won, it wasn't in no spectacular fashion or no clear fashion. It was like an injury, but hey, a win's a win, and a win for him is a win for me because I picked him. But yeah, I would have loved to see that fight play out more. Um, I think it would have been an interesting matchup. Yair Rodriguez wouldn't have been scared of Ortega on the ground. Like you saw, he was, as soon as he hit the mat, was going for armbar. He wasn't going as scared. He wasn't worried so much about Ortega's wrestling or his grappling. He was out there, I'm going to fight him wherever the fight takes place and comfortable. And I would have wanted to see him go a little bit longer and see him working the ground with Ortega more. I want to see him like fight a high-paced fight over the course of rounds, not just a first round. Like, I want to see how Yair Rodriguez can fare. Like, I know he was able to go 5 hard rounds or Holloway, but I want to see a consistency of him being able to go hard 5 rounds or hard 3 rounds against the best of the best. And want to see him go 5 hard rounds and get his hand raised. I mean, he went hard with Korean Zombie, but that's in the past now. And he was down in that one, but yeah. I want to see him do it with more clear performances. I feel like the Korean Zombie fight, he was on the way to losing, but got that spectacular little elbow. Holloway fight, he lost, but it was very close. Some people say he won. I didn't feel he won, but it was a close enough fight. But a fight where he clearly wins a 5-round fight with like really not much debate behind it. Whether he gets a stoppage in there, but like actually winning the rounds clear and solid up on the scorecard prior to that stoppage. That would have been something nice to see from him. But a win's a win. Like at this point in his career, like they already established. So it's just about winning and getting on to the next. But yeah, Ortega. Hey, well, I don't know what you can really say about Ortega. Let's get well soon, and go back out there. Like, don't sit too much time on the fence. You only got so much time in your career to be. I'm not saying he's older or anything. He's not, but like the career of a fighter is very short. You can't, and especially your prime at your best. This is where the time is high. This is where the money is right now, and this is where you are at your best, and the best is able to take advantage of your skill and opportunities in your youth. So don't take too much time off, but take the time to get your well and get back out there, and luck to see him in some of these matchups, and potentially even get a rematch with Volkanovski some down the line. But clearly this fight pushes that back. But who knows? Rodriguez could get injured, or Emmett could get injured, or somebody get injured, and he could be very much being a top shot coming off 2 losses. But that's the nature of the game, the nature of the beast. But yeah, as far as Yair Rodriguez versus Emmett, I think he could beat Emmett. I think he could even stop Emmett, but Emmett definitely be game out there. As far as against Volkanovski, I think Volkanovski just puts that man on his back and mauls him. But I don't know, Yair Rodriguez does have that unpredictability about him that he could give literally anybody a good fight. So that's another thing. But if I had to give my prediction right now, I'd say Volkanovski just taking that man out, mauling him, and just battering him. I think Volkanovski right now, his eyes should be in the next division. I feel like he could establish himself even more in this weight class and make himself the clear featherweight GOAT potentially before truly going up to lightweight. But I feel like he already set a pretty much a good case for himself now. Like, he's definitely in contention, definitely arguably couldn't be the featherweight GOAT of all time for MMA, not just the UFC. Definitely a good argument for him. But he can really truly push his pound for pound all-time great number up by going up there and beating Charles Oliveira. So he's already at a point where he's fully established in the featherweight division. Like, matter of fact, he's number 2 right now. He's number 2 featherweight all time at the very least, if not 1. Definitely, I would say, I'm gonna say he's the number 1 UFC featherweight of all time. All time in May, like, because Aldo has some more success outside of UFC, not just in the UFC. So I might say Aldo's still a little bit ahead of him as far as all-time featherweights. But UFC, I would give Volkanovski. Even in the UFC, Aldo still got more title defenses. I feel like Volkanovski's track record is much better. But I'm like, this not even the video. Like, Volkanovski not on this card. So yeah, that's the video. I'm getting off topic. That's a whole nother card, a whole nother video for another time. But that's the video. Went 5-7, horrendous. But I assure you, I'm going to kill this card next week. If y'all want to get in on the bets, get in on the money, send me that 10, or just hop in the Discord. I'll probably link the Discord down below. Hop in the Discord. We're going to start discussing it, start sharing some of these picks, sharing some of these bets, and we're going to kill it this week. This week is the harvest. We about to harvest. We about to kill this card. I'm about to kill this card. And like I said, y'all want to get into the real deep, $10 a month. I'm like rapping. $10 a month. You can start starting, or you can just pay $50 and never have to pay again. $10 a month or $50, you never have to pay again. Or you can just hop in Discord and see some of the free bets, just get in the conversation and like really just talk out some of the bets. Like just talking about, communicate, and then find a way to get the best without even having to pay anything. Or get what you want to get out of it without having to pay anything. Like Discord free. The bets, well, the premium bets aren't free, but most of it, like, I know you still get a pretty good value without even having to pay a dime. That's all I'm trying to say. And you get other people's best, and you get to share your best, you get to share your mind, other like-minded people, other qualified minds, like-minded people. But that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.